Yo, what's good? Stu here, Stu TV. I cover all things blockchain, metaverse, crypto, NFTs, all that good stuff. Just coming at you again with another beginner series video. In today's video, this is going to be covered DAOs. It turns out, I know in our last previous videos, we covered things like bridges, smart contracts. So then being able to take those different functions and seeing how that's actually application and use next video. But let's get into it. So we just quickly right here, just going to give a breakdown of just DAOs, and then also want to just show some single chain DAOs and also some cross chain DAOs for flexibility in navigating throughout the space. But listen, I'll read this. DAOs, your ultimate guide 2024. What is a DAO? How does it work? We got the answers to all your questions about decentralized autonomous organizations in our complete guide. What does DAO stand for? DAO stands for decentralized autonomous organizations. Sometimes they're referred to as decentralized autonomous corporations, or DACs. What is a DAO? A DAO is decentralized autonomous organization, a new kind of structure where there is no central authority and actions are automated by blockchain technologies. A DAO is an emerging kind of organizational structure where instead of a hierarchy structure with a leader, there's no central authority or leader making all the decisions. Instead, DAOs are managed by members through collective governments. This is the most often achieved through blockchain technology, including smart contracts and governance tokens. Tokens can vote on proposals for DAOs development. Although DAOs have only recently gained traction, largely thanks to a wider interest in blockchain technology and its use cases, the first term emerged in the 1990s to describe potential digital organizations in the Internet of Things, IoT. To understand DAOs, it can help to simply break down each word in a phrase. So I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna further break down into this. Decentralized. These organizations are community owned. While there are many developers creating the technologies necessarily, all members share power collectively. Autonomous. Rules, treasuries, and more are automatically encoded and enforced by smart contracts. Organizations are a group of people with specific purposes, goals in mind. So even just breaking that down, the decentralized aspect is different from an organization or a traditional company where they have a hierarchy and then that person makes all the decisions based on people that's under them in a certain rank hierarchy, and then everybody else on the bottom just really more so has to go and work within their level of say in that opportunity or say in part of that organization. With DAOs, you could be able to have it autonomous where it's owned by a large group of people and people that want to come in for a selective goal and a common use. So there could be many purposes for DAOs. You could take this and how you can use it for environmental, entertainment purposes, being able to get into like a cause that you believe in. So it's a lot of things that you could do as a collective of people. And I believe like in the next 5 to 10 years, you'll see where people can actually work in a DAO and work in a cause they actually support and believe in and have ownership and monetize and possibly make money. Let's actually read the rest of this article. How do DAOs work? So we understand what DAOs are now. Typical structure, we could dwell further into how they work. Generally, collective members own a DAO, and this is the most often achieved with the ownership of a given token, also known as a governance token. For example, MakerDAO members hold MKR tokens. The actual functions of a DAO are generally executed using smart contracts. These are pieces of code automatically execute whenever conditions are met. Smart contracts manage the rules of a DAO and the rules established by the governance token holders' votes. So it just shows how the people, if you're interacting with this particular DAO, that you have so many tokens or so much use case, and then being able to vote on different structures or mechanisms, or even submit a proposal of something that you would like to see or change on the platform technology community. You could also have those opportunities to do that based on how much amount that you hold. What is the purpose of a DAO? Just like traditional organizations have purposes and goals, so do DAOs. DAOs can be set up by anyone, anywhere, for any purpose. If you are asking why would someone to set up a DAO as opposed to a traditional organization structure, then it can help to compare the key differences between the two. So let's go over this. So we have the feature, the structure, governance, transparency, delivery of services. So let's look at the differences. So we have DAO is a flat, and the traditional organization has a hierarchy. There's no one big shot and no big wig that's leading the rest. It's going to be more of a community base. And with traditional, you can have like a board of directors, executives, owners, VPs, people that are on staff on the board. They make the decisions overall growing for the need as a company. But with the DAO, it involves all the community as far as people that actually want to vote and on a common goal, and people that's actually be fully invested because they're putting their money behind and accumulating that token in or their time. So you have transparency, fully public and transparent. private and restricted to key stakeholders, and delivery, automated by smart contracts, which we went over. Make sure you just click the link if you want to watch any of the previous videos. Generally handled by people and programs managed by people with traditional organizations. So you can see all the differences with DAOs and traditional organizations and how that might be another alternative that you could possibly look at and direction that you may want to go in. Why would people choose to join a DAO? People join DAOs for the same reason they join any other organization, whether that's commercial or nonprofit, because they believe in the vision or the goal the project has. What are the benefits of DAOs? There are many benefits of DAOs. Decentralization. There is no central authority in the DAO, meaning everyone has equal skin in the game. Each member is incentivized to do the best thing for the DAO, to put forward votes and proposals that will benefit the development of the project. In traditional structures, one participant with more power is potentially able to make more decisions based on their own self-interest. Transparency. This is a general benefit of blockchain technology, but it equally applies to DAOs. Everything about the project, including single transaction made, including treasury transactions, is available for anyone and anyone to view. It is all recorded on a public ledger for members and anyone else to see. This helps root out those that may be acting in bad faith. So it has borderless automated efficiency. Let's read a little bit of this. Smart contracts execute the actions of a DAO. This means there is much lower risk for human error as long as the code is sound. And then you have borderless, where people can join all over the world, parts of different countries they may not have ever been to. Unlike traditional organizations, which have a limited membership based on location, anyone in the world can join a DAO. And the neutrality, the decentralized nature of DAOs, whereas traditional organizations may see conflicts over discrepancies in rules, DAOs are all neutral. So what are the benefits? You have decentralization, transparency, borderless, automated efficiency, neutrality. What are the downsides of DAOs? So we got to go over some of the cons. So what are the downsides of DAOs, and just going over some of the disadvantages to consider. Concentration of voting power. The decentralization in DAOs only works if the voting power is equally distributed. This is usually achieved through token allocation and supply. However, in poorly managed DAOs, the voting power may become unevenly distributed. The majority of the tokens may end up with the key stakeholders. For example, founders, developers, and even whales of the project. A chain analysis found that 10 major DAO projects, less than 1% of the holders have 90% of the voting power, suggesting that many DAOs have a long way to go before it can be truly decentralized. So I actually want to just go over that and break that down. So when you have tokens that are distributed, depending on how much that is left with the core team, with the people that actually finalize or birth the idea, and the leading project founders and developers, that can also dictate, can also be decentralized in terms of the technology. But with the way the infrastructure is set up, it's still set up for people that let it to have majority of the same power, which could also be similar to traditional companies. Therefore, just looking at the tokenomics, seeing how much voting power that you're actually going to have, what is the possibility in terms of from the holder's perspective, how's those things evenly distributed? Is there ways on gamification on how to increase your voting power? A lot of those ways on concentration of voting power is going to be a lot to look at and key in terms of when you choose, if you choose to get into a DAO. Speed of decision making. Any member of a DAO can put forth a proposal for the development of a project provided they have enough tokens. Each proposal will be put to the other members who will vote on it. While this ensures a more democratic decision-making process, it means decisions may take longer to make and actions to implement. So that's another thing that you want to consider with joining a DAO. A DAO could be a very slow process, because if you have a lot of people saying, hey, let's do this, or let's come out with some new DeFi staking mechanism, or let's give out X amount of APY for staking this token, or how we can get higher yield percentages. So when you come out with all these different proposals, yes, it's supposed to be filtered through for everybody to see, but it can also take longer for people to come to an actual consensus and actually move forward. So those are some things that you want to think about as well. Accountability. There's no central authority in DAOs when things go wrong, but it's often unclear who to blame. And you have code vulnerability. Automation through smart contracts is an excellent idea, provided the code is sound. Smart contracts have unique technical vulnerabilities that need to be thoroughly assessed by experienced developers for ensuring to make sure nothing goes wrong. So that's where it comes with getting your smart contract audited being able to look through, make sure you identify what you're looking at, interested in getting into. So I know DAOs, the concept and the framework of this technology, it has a lot of depth to it, but also there's a lot of things in terms of the human built, the human aspect, how those different things are mapped out and formed, that also has to be developed as well. So we have examples of DAOs. There are many different DAOs like protocol DAOs, social DAOs, investment DAOs, grant DAOs, even entertainment DAOs. Or the Genesis DAO was the first DAO to emerge back in 2016, but the project did not have a happy ending. The DAO was supposed to operate similar to a venture capital fund for the crypto market. So you can see a lot of people like pivoting in that different direction. But let's actually just go into some of the single chain DAOs, some examples. Uniswap is a protocol DAO for trading and automated liquidity on the provision of the Ethereum network with more than 4 billion TVL. Uniswap DAO is governed by uni holders who vote on proposals of the development of an overall protocol. So you see that one. So you see Uniswap, just a particular DEX. You'll be swapping on that platform. You have Constitution DAOs, one of the more weird and wonderful stories in the Wild West of crypto. The DAO formed in 2021 with the simple goal of purchasing an original copy of the United States Institution. The DAO raised more than $47 million in ETH, as the organizers believed they would have insufficient funding to properly ensure and secure the document. A higher bid was made. The DAO was disbanded and refunded members shortly, although many users reported receiving partial funds due to high gas fees at the time. Decentraland. Decentraland DAO is a popular metaverse. It makes all the decisions about the game, including issuing grants to creators, banning users, controlling the land of the state, smart contracts, and more. Anyone that holds mana or land NFT can vote. So you have MakerDAO. That's one that we're going to go over in terms of a single chain. MakerDAO governs the Maker protocol, the protocol that issues popular stablecoin DAI. MKR holders are members of the MakerDAO and can vote on policy issues for DAI, accepted collateral, and other governance issues. So let's actually read a little bit of this. How do DAOs make money? The most common way to raise funds for a DAO is to issue governance tokens. These could be purchased or distributed to members. For example, early adopters of Uniswap protocol were rewarded with the first release of Uni tokens. Alternately, depending on the type of DAO, they could work as kind of a venture capital or funds raised through crowdfunding. How can I join the DAO? To become a member is as simple as buying the governance token. For example, if you went and purchased MKR tokens, you'd be part of the Maker DAO, and you could vote on proposals. It's worth noting that most of the DAO voting mechanisms are as simple as one vote per token. Some are weighted voting mechanisms, for example, quadratic voting mechanisms to better allow members to show support for issues they believe in as they will. Some DAOs require members to hold a certain amount of tokens to put forth proposals. So how do you start a DAO? Wondering how you start a DAO? What steps might be involved in? Well, varying. So we can go ahead. So we're going to actually just skim through this a little bit. I know it's a mouthful reading through this article. So let's start. You can pick a goal. A DAO with a clear and unique mission and purpose or goal will struggle to attract members and investment. So you define the tokenomics. How do members join and vote? Is there a fixed supply of tokens? How do tokens issue, like I talked about before? Build your community through Reddit, Discord, Twitter, and other spaces you need to reach who would be interested in becoming a member of your DAO. Define your governance. How is protocols going to be managed? How many tokens do members need to vote? How will you avoid power concentration through vote mechanisms? So a lot to consider. Build your DAO. Time for DAOs. Whether you're doing it by yourself, you'll need a solid team to build smart contracts to deliver your solution on your chosen blockchain. Deploy the DAO mainnet. Once everything is working, it's time to deploy. Make sure you have allowed time for member feedback so you can develop accordingly to your members' needs. How are DAOs taxed? Tax officers ain't the best with keeping up the pace of innovation of crypto market, so it should come as no surprise the vast majority of tax officers not issue guidance on the taxation of DAOs just yet. This said, given DAOs are not registered entities and jurisdictions and have no central control, DAOs cannot pay taxes themselves. So if your DAO is paying out rewards to members, part of its tokenomics is a new form of tokens that may be subject to income tax. So we're going to actually read a bit of this. How are DAOs taxed? There are not much guidance on DAOs tax yet, but it's likely if you're earning new tokens as reward, you may pay income tax. Or if you're selling or swapping government tokens, you may pay a capital gains tax. So you can be able to check. It shows what DAOs are for dummies, what are DAOs in crypto. So this actually just scrolling down, it just shows a lot in this article. You can be able to feel free to read. I'm not going to read it all the way through. Once again, guys, this is supposed to give you a general overview. You can build DAOs on Ethereum, Bitcoin DAOs, even in Cardano, they have DAOs within different projects. So a lot of DAOs could be cross-chain. So I'm gonna show you, a single chain DAO. Then I'm gonna also show some cross-chain options as well for this series. But let's go on to our next part of this video. So it shows like a starter guide, a detailed overview of autonomous decentralized organization. So I'm gonna skim through this a brief. DAO doesn't have a centralized head, organizational box, or CXO acting as the controlling authority, as the organization is operating in an autonomous manner and is self-managing. So the type of DAOs, there are two types of DAOs: token-based and share-based. Token-based memberships are completely permissionless, and every member owns the governance tokens. These tokens can be traded by members freely. The members can also earn governance tokens through liquidity or work. On the other hand, the share-based memberships are more permission-oriented in nature. To gain membership, you have to submit a proposal for joining the DAO along with a tribute. This tribute can be different types, such as tokens or labor. So how do DAOs operate as a business? So they have DAOs enter working agreement code via typical decentralized smart contracts or software programs that with self-executing code. We'll scroll down just a little bit. Traditional businesses, entities versus DAOs, and key differences. By now, it must be clear that DAOs differ from traditional businesses in the multiple ways. Below, we shared a more detailed walkthrough of all the businesses, all the benefits, partnerships, and memberships. The traditional organization structure is static, more formal and straightforward. There is a board of directors that is working towards a common business goal. DAOs, on the other hand, are governed in a completely decentralized manner, where partners or members do not have to know each other or meet each other to create and agree on decisions and protocols. They have transaction management, decision-making, organization structure. So just even breaking it down, let's actually define the objectives and let's go over some common types. Establishing objectives like mission, core value, examples for your DAO. This will help you build the community and find like-minded people or entities. There can be many types of DAOs based on the intent and the objective. Some common types include protocol DAOs, focusing on governments of decentralized protocols. Collector DAOs prove the ownership of an NFT artist, for example. Investment DAOs, joining with new owners of cryptocurrencies, focus on funding startups, new projects, startups. Media DAOs allow readers to contribute in exchange for native currencies for their labor, such as Forefront. Grant DAOs, similar to DAOs, they can for new initiatives only for DeFi projects. Social DAOs facilitate social networks, such as establishing digital democracy for speakers. Entertainment DAOs offer entertainment by enabling creators with powerful capabilities. And then we have philanthropy DAOs. They are committed to assisting social responsibility initiatives in the Web3 environment. So it just shows all the different type of DAOs. You can register as an LLC. So there's just many things that you could have just going into a DAO, but it's important that the smart contract is going to be automated and computed in a way where it's going to lay out all these different mechanisms between people that actually get their token. How much do they get in token? What's the mechanisms? What is the token distribution? All those things get looked at and just get computed into a smart contract, and then operate on that single chain aspect, and then also have a cross chain option as well, which we're going to go in now with part 2 of this video. And so now I'm actually going to go in and show some examples of some DAOs. First, show you a single chain DAO, and then I'm going to go into some cross chain options, and then we're going to do a full recap and breakdown to wrap it up. So Maker DAO, a better, smarter currency. DAO can be used by anyone and anyone at any time. The world's first unbiased currency. DAO is a stable, decentralized currency that does not discriminate. Any individual or business can realize the advantages of digital money. Financial freedom with no volatility. A price stable currency that you control, generate DAO on your terms instantly. Decentralized governance. A community of MKR token holders govern the Maker protocol, the smart contract that powers DAO. A growing ecosystem. Over 400 services have an integrated DAO wallets, DeFi platforms, games, and more. So you can join the community, have recent posts. But let's look into this and let's read more. MKR governance 101. MKR holders are responsible for governing the Maker protocol, which includes adjusting policy for DAO stablecoin, choosing new collateral types, and improving governance itself. Anyone can be a Maker holder, and all are welcome to come join us in shaping the future of DeFi. So you can be able to have that, and then you can click vote on Maker DAO. You can make a governance proposal. You can just make suggestions suggested polls. You can have your top aligned delegates. So it just shows how much participation that you have in governance participation, top voters, being able to actually get active in this community if you believe in the cause and what they're building long term for the sustained future. But you can be able to look in that. They have documentation. So let's see if we can read a bit of this. The Maker Protocol is a platform through which anyone can generate DAO stablecoin against crypto collateral assets, learn how it works. So as an introduction, MakerDAO is a decentralized organization that brings stability to the cryptocurrency economy. The MakerDAO employs a two-token system, the first being DAO, a collateral-backed stablecoin that offers stability. The Maker Foundation and MakerDAO community believe that a decentralized stablecoin is required to have any business or individual realize the advantages of digital money. Second, the MKR, a governance token, is used by stakeholders to maintain the system and manage DAO. MKR holders are decision makers of the Maker Protocol, supported by a larger public community. And so the Maker Protocol smart contract modular system, so it shows governance modules, rate modules, DAO modules, so all these different things to be able to consider when you're looking at the smart contract and all the different components and features where people want to come in and interact with the network. So even some of this goes beyond my knowledge, guys, as I'm still learning, I'm still growing. Like I said, it's supposed to be a general overview in a general series, but this is being able to get access to a particular stable coin and then be able to have that stable coin as you accumulate it. Then you can see different functions, use cases for the technology, possibly write a proposal yourself. That can also go a long way in terms of a resume. There's many different ways on how you could benefit from DAOs and just looking into like different modules and systems. We're going to read a bit of this and go on to the next one. The MKR token, the governance token of Maker Protocol, allows for those who hold it to vote on changes on Maker Protocol. Note that anyone, not only MKR holders, can submit proposals from MKR vote. A voter approved modification to the governance variables of a protocol will likely not take immediate future. Rather than they could be delayed as much as 24 hours. So they have poll and executing, being able to have responsibilities. You add a new collateral asset type with unique set of parameters. So it just has like many different stuff, how people can actually look into DAOs. There's many information on how people want to look into DAOs, any information that you want to get on them, just having how the actual governance proposal works, how many tokens you have to have in allocation, being able to submit proposals. So a lot to get into, but that's as far as MakerDAO and the single chain. Let's actually go over to our next one. Thorchain, cross-chain swaps. Swap, borrow, and earn your native assets powered by Rune. Decentralized cross-chain infrastructure. Thorchain is a network facilitates native asset settlements between Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, Avalanche, Cosmos, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. Thorchain is secured by its native token Rune, which determinedly accrues value as more assets are deposited in the network. Anyone can use Thorchain to swap native assets between supported chains or deposit their assets to earn yields from swaps. They had the network statistics. Trust is minimized infrastructure. Thorchain was designed first principle to minimize and trust and become scalable, economically secure cross-chain communications. Settlement layer and dozens of exchanges rely on Thorchain to process swaps for their users and more. So you see you have native assets, being able to stream swaps, do liquidity, so you can be able to borrow and lend on here, just earn a percentage for having your tokens or whatever currency on the network. So native asset security. Thorchain allows native cross-chain swaps without wrapped or pegged assets. Users don't need Rune to pay for transactions. This only requirement is a transaction on first chain. Swappers always maintain self-custody of their funds, so they're always in control. Single asset liquidity and secured by runes. Node operators bond Rune to enter the network. Their bonds are worth more than the assets they secure. Thorchain open source code and keeps the funds safe. We'll see if we can look into some of the documentation and actually just go through and read. So Thorchain, about Thorchain, is a centralized cross-chain liquidity protocol that utilizes Tendermint consensus engine, Cosmos SDK state machine, and the GG20 threshold signature scheme. It operates as an independent layer 1 cross-chain decentralized exchange built on Cosmos. Thorchain allows users to swap across multiple chains without the need for wrapped or pegged assets, ensures transparent and fair prices without relying on centralized third parties. So you'll be able to have like innovations, Pillars of Thorchain: security, liquidity, and volume. Improve the security of the network, improve the liquidity of the network, a total value lock, a better UX around providing liquidity, improve the volume of the network via swap UX or wallet integrations. You can learn how Thorchain works so you can be able to contribute. Thorchain is a public project. If you want to join the community or work on Thorchain, you can join the Discord so you can be able to understand. Also, they just have different proposals. If you have some ownership of that Rune token, you're able to have say on the direction of this particular DAO and protocol and things that they're building and moving out. Understanding Thorchain, so you can be able to get started. Let's see, you can be able to swap, you can have savings, liquidity pools, interacting with runes. The Rune token is a native asset on the Thorchain's own server blockchain. Users who want to hold Rune deposit LP symmetrically and bonding in the nodes, which will need a wallet to hold native Rune. So check here for a list of wallets that support the native Rune. You can swap Rune for Thorchain directly. So let's actually just look into this. Thorchain governance is deliberately minimal. It decides which chains the assets are listed and when the protocol gets upgraded. Thorchain aims to have little governance backed into the system as possible. This is done by nodes so they don't communicate or learn. This is important for security because it makes sure nodes don't act together. Thorchain governance decides assets are listed or delisted, which chains are listed / delisted, when protocols get upgraded, and the economic limit and how many nodes can participate. So let's actually see if we can actually scroll down. So just wanted to scroll and just fast forward. It's just a lot to go through, but I just giving you ways if you're actually interested in joining. How to join Thorchain as a node. Joining Thorchain, now you have deployed in the Kubernetes cluster. You need to start operating your node to join the network. So it shows just all the processes on how you can join the node, being able to get managed, being able to get into the community Telegram. So if you actually want to join, if you're interested in getting to the Thorchain and see how you can be a part and just have more involvement in this chain and ecosystem. Let's go over to our next one. So our last one we have is just Badger DAO. We have Badger DAO, Ethereum, WETH, STETH, WSTETH to borrow the decentralized Bitcoin built for Ethereum DeFi and no cost. So you can be able to start have access to all the top DeFi. Badger token enables collective governance while having enhanced utility across top DeFi protocols. So top DeFi, Snapshot, Balancer, Uniswap, Bunny. So there's a lot of ones that you're different familiar with. You can also just click the vote button. The voting will allow you to vote on different proposals. So this is an example of somebody that put in a proposal, something that they wanted done. They could be able to vote on it, who actually wants to be able to have that proposal done. So you can put all this in Snapshot. A lot of people just be submitting. It'll end in a certain month period, but that's where you can actually vote. They also just have the documentation. Let's look into some of the docs. So welcome to Badger. What's next? Badger is the native governance token of the Badger DAO. Badger is the native governance token. It's an ERC token with a fixed supply of 21 million. Badger tokens give you the right to vote on Badger DAO governance proposals and also be used to earn staking rewards as collateral on different platforms, Bitcoin DeFi. Holding Badger in your wallet will increase your APYs and select few votes as part of the Badger Boost system. Badger token was launched in the vision of a fair launch. That's why there's no pre-mine funding rounds or tokens designated for VCs. If you're interested in learning how a token was launched and initial distribution, feel free to take a look at our first now discontinued articles, A Truly Fair Token Launch. So that's something to be able to get interested in. Let's look into some of the governance. Badger improvement proposals. As a core, Badger is run by community members such as major changes to DAO go through a full community proposal process known as the Badger improvement proposals. Some actions require BIPs, adjusting fees for Volt products, committing treasury funds to support grant programs, and making purchases such as badger.com domain. More on details on the BIP can be found here. So you can be able to get in the discussion board, get into the Discord, jump in there, be able to interact with the community, and just see all the different parts and functions that you could be able to be involved in. Part 1, governance, BIP. This section provides a framework for BIP creation, form signaling, snapshot voting, and implementation. Each BIP should be balanced in the needs of safe growth with the viability of the DAO. Are properly formatted, easily to understood. You outline BIPs and address and impact BIPs. So they have form signaling, a lot that people could have insight and access in that particular DAO. I'm not going to go over every single thing and every single function because I don't want to go super deep into it and ultimately confuse you. So guys, this is a beginner video, but I can just make many different updates donations, do a full breakdown, many different sections that I get different requests. Just a lot that comes in with the governance proposal and the governance part of DAOs and Badger DAO. So we're actually going to go over the yield bearing rewards. I'm going to go do a further breakdown and wrap up to end this video. From the moment you earn them, yield bearing rewards are put to work rewards of their own, maximizing the overall return. The detailed video, yield bearing rewards remove the friction of users in claiming, staking, and transferring funds to instead have them decide when to claim, how much to claim, and what to do with the rewards. Just passively let them sit auto compounding with maximizing their rewards, losing on potential rewards. So let's see if we can watch a bit of this.
Typically, users deposit tokens into a vault that produces claimable rewards. In this case, it is the user's discretion when and how frequently to claim these rewards. But what exactly is the best way to optimize? Do you stake them, swap them, lock them, vote for bribes? When is it best to claim? This process can be gas intensive, labor intensive, and leave you in a suboptimal earning position. Badger yield-bearing rewards automate and optimize the complex series of ongoing transactions required to make the most of DeFi ecosystems like Aura and Convex. From the moment you earn them, yield-bearing rewards are being put to work in other earning positions, actively generating rewards of their own. This removes the pressure that comes with deciding when and how frequently to claim your rewards, because they're always earning on your behalf. This allows you to save on gas, do less work, and be in an optimized earning position. Do less and earn more with Badger.
So that's just interesting, guys. They just have just many user guides and just being able to operate on the BTC network. So this is just some options, some things that you want to pay attention if you want to go down the DAO direction. But just make sure you stay tuned, because I'm gonna do a quick wrap up and break down this entire video.
What's good, guys? So obviously you're at the end of this video. I know it was a mouthful to just really unpack and uncover, but I just wanted to do a quick recap of just what we discussed. I know we discussed this DAOs, specifically cross-chain DAOs, but I also just gave you some single-chain DAOs to be able to look at, and the purpose of DAOs and what direction in terms of where I personally see, DAOs head in the next 5 to 10 years. And being able to have an early jump start can allow you to put yourself in a position where you want to be years beforehand. But what's actually going to motivate you to actually get into DAOs and cross-chain DAOs is just all the opportunities. What's actually going to motivate you to actually jump in and get active in the different participation? Well, the first thing I'll say is just ownership and governance. Just with this time in history, you can be able to work in something that you also just have say-so and right. So it's no longer going to be just one big wig calling all the shots and then have a board of directors lined up under them, and then determine the whole direction of the company, and people that maybe work on the day-to-day don't really have no say. Well, that can cause tension within the conflicts of the company, and people really feel like they're not contributing to something they actually believe in. So DAOs be able to support that case. You have that ownership and governance. Right. The next thing I'll say is just community building, networking. So you'll be able to get in with like-minded people, be able to interact on a specific cause. Then you can possibly join other DAOs, and then also get rewarded for that participation when you're being active in the community, making proposals, making different initiatives, coming up with different solutions on behalf of a cause. And this could be with a platform, this could be for environmental. So once DAOs are kind of established in terms of a fundamental level, then you'll see just many different industries begin to adopt. And next thing I'll just say is just education and growth. You'll be able to educate yourself specifically in the cross-chain perspective, interacting with all these different networks, protocols, dApps, being able to interact and be able to have insight and just educate yourself along the way. But make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you join the Discord, join the server. Stay tuned for all the videos I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna see you in the next one.